All right, welcome back, fellow scientists, to the second video of our flipped classroom. So we're talking about photosynthesis and cellular respiration, remember? And it doesn't really matter which one we're talking about. We need to start out with this idea of energy-carrying molecules. So that'll be the title for this section, so go ahead and write that down. I'm using red because it's energy, so red is fire, obviously. Energy-carrying molecules. Perfect. So I'm just going to make a little chart right here, right? So you might want to just watch the video and then pause it and then kind of fill in the chart after that. So I use the analogy of baskets and batteries. All right, so here's our baskets, and you can see we have pictures of baskets down here. Thank you very much, Google Images. And then batteries. B-A-T-T, oops, E-R-I-E-S. There you go. If I could spell, that would be helpful. Mr. Leo, that's normal. I know. So baskets and batteries. So we have a couple different baskets that operate in cellular respiration. Cellular respiration. So over here we're going to have our empty baskets. So our empty baskets are NAD+ as well as FAD+. And then during the process of cellular respiration, we fill those up with electrons. So we can say plus electrons, that's an E, right? Gets us to our full baskets, which are right down here. So our full baskets, which have more energy, right, are NADH as well as FADH2. All right, so those are our baskets for cellular respiration. Photosynthesis only has one basket, and it's very similar to a basket in cellular respiration, but it's slightly different, so we need to write it down. So photosynthesis, right? The empty basket is called NADP+. So it's very similar to NAD+, only there's an extra phosphate, and it's really kind of, easy to remember because NADP is in photosynthesis. NAD, it doesn't have a P, so it's in cellular respiration. So that's the empty basket, right? And the plus, we think plus is full, is better. Well, the plus is empty because it's missing an electron, right? These baskets carry electrons. So if we take NADP+, and if we add electrons, right? So then that would give us a full basket, which is NADPH, just like that. The reason why we have an H is because, yeah, we're carrying electrons, but hydrogens usually tag along with electrons. So you'll notice that we add an H to all of our full baskets. You can kind of use the memory aid like H means heavy, so it's full, and plus we're missing something and we want something, so it's light. I don't know. You can figure out your own memory aid if those don't work. So those are our baskets that we're going to be talking about. And just in case you're curious, I don't want you laying awake at night. Why didn't Mr. Leo give us the atomic structure of the baskets? Well, here it is, right here. And you can see this is even labeled. So this is NAD+. And if it's NADP+, then we would have a phosphate group attached right here to form NADP. And then right here, you'll see this little nitrogen with this plus sign. That means it's an empty basket. That means it has a positive charge, right? But then if we want to fill up the basket, if we want to give it 2 electrons and a hydrogen, then the electrons would kind of hang out around here, and then the hydrogen would be attached to this ring structure right there. You don't need to know that. You don't need to memorize that. That's just kind of, for your own information. All right, so that's half the chart. We talked about our baskets. So now our batteries are the same for cellular respiration and for photosynthesis. If it's an empty battery, we're not going to say it has no energy because it does have a little bit of energy. It does still have chemical bonds. Remember, that's how we store energy. But our empty battery is going to be ADP. Okay, ADP stands for adenosine diphosphate, and it would behoove you to memorize that. ADENOSINE, adenosine di, that's key, phosphate. Adenosine diphosphate. Perfect. And that's right here, right? And then if I kind of take my little video and move it out of the way, so then we can see that our fully charged battery is going to be ATP, and that stands for adenosine triphosphate. Adenosine triphosphate. Right, and that's our fully charged battery. That's where we have a lot of energy. Okay, so for those of you that are wondering, and you don't have to memorize this, but this is really helpful if you want to think about this conceptually. Right, so we're going to draw what ATP and what ADP looks like. So we're going to start with our 5-carbon sugar. 1, 2, 3, 4, and you'll notice that this is a pentagon with 4 carbons and then an oxygen. And then we're going to have a carbon kind of coming off here. And I'm not going to draw it in because otherwise it would be too confusing. But we can just fill in, right, because carbon wants to make 4 bonds. We can fill in hydrogen wherever we need to make 4 bonds. I won't do it down here because that's just way too confusing. But then the reason why it's called adenosine tri or diphosphate is because we're going to have a little kind of like hexagon structure coming off of here. Right, and then off of this hexagon structure, we're going to have a pentagon, which comes like that. Perfect. And that's the adenosine. That's the base. We'll talk more about that when we get to DNA, right? A's and C's and T's and G's. Well, the A is adenosine, right? So that's adenosine. So that's the A in ATP, right? And then the P's come from the number of phosphate groups that we have. Okay, so here is 1 phosphate group. Here is 2 phosphate groups, and here are 3 phosphate groups. So this right here, and again, I didn't draw in all the hydrogens there implied. So this is ATP. That's our fully charged battery. Okay. So what do you think ADP looks like? Go ahead and take a guess. Just kind of think about it in your mind. What do you think ADP looks like? If you said that it's just missing 1 phosphate, right, and that it would just be all this stuff that is circled right here, you are entirely correct. Right, so it's missing this high energy bond right here, so it has less energy. It still has energy because it still has these bonds right here, so it's not totally empty, but it has less energy. That's the idea. So the stuff that I circled in blue is ADP, right? So now would be a good time to pause maybe and to go back and to make this chart. Right, in your notes, and draw the baskets, draw the batteries, and then make sure that you draw this. Like I said, it's not going to be on the test. You don't need to memorize it, but it really helps to have this idea of ATP triphosphate, ADP diphosphate. So anyways, this has been Mr. Leo, and today in this video we learned about energy carrying molecules, baskets, and batteries, and I will see you on the flip side.